What is happening at JGamer Dude here, and I'm going to be doing a double whammy of Microsoft and Activision Blizzard news, and this is going to be the Microsoft stuff specifically. So let's talk about how Satya Nadella is getting a $13 million pay rise, despite the fact that this is the year of massive gaming layoffs, and the fact that he tried to take a voluntary pay cut. Now, this is very much a cautionary tale of the gaming space, because CEOs continue to enrich themselves and yet players are forced or funneled down the path of microtransactions, season passes, battle passes, just every sort of possible microtransaction type that we've seen up until now. This is very much a cautionary tale of that. So, with all that being said though, please like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel. Let's jump into the actual news in question, which is that the CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, is getting a pay rise, which is significantly higher than last year's. So he was intending to get a total of $79.1 million. 2.5 mil for his base salary, 71.2 mil for stock awards, and 5.2 million for non-equity incentive plan compensation, which is significantly higher than last year's compensation that he got of 48.5 mil. His base salary pretty much remained the same, and it was just the fact that his fiscal year stock awards went from 39.24 to 71.24 instead, which increased by about a very solid 32 mil right there. So a massive amount of money being given to a guy with pretty much a cash incentive involved. Now, let's see, filing points in particular incorporates the Satya Nadella was taking a pay cut. The cash incentive portion of his pay was reduced at Nadella's own request due to a security breach in 2023 where a Chinese espionage group hacked government email accounts through Microsoft, per the filing. So I guess worth keeping in mind that he is the president of all of Microsoft, and this doesn't just relate to gaming as a whole. But it still doesn't change the fact that thousands of people have lost their jobs because of the Activision acquisition. Microsoft was helming it through and through, and the fact of the matter is that Microsoft now owns them, but also Xbox was considered its own separate entity to that of Microsoft, despite being owned or shielded under the umbrella of Microsoft, because again, Microsoft always owned Xbox. It's just that Xbox just felt like another branch of Microsoft that wasn't necessarily just Microsoft. Now it seems like Microsoft is slowly encroaching on Xbox, and if one day Xbox is renamed to Microsoft Gaming, I feel like that just would not surprise anyone. So let's have a look at Microsoft's 2024 fiscal year, which took place from July 2023 to June 2024, during which the company acquired Activision Blizzard for $69 billion, a point that was celebrated in the Microsoft filing. However, the company also laid off 1,900 staff in the gaming workforce in early January. A few months later, it closed Redfall developer IK in Austin, Hi-Fi developer Tango Gameworks, which I still absolutely despise Microsoft for, because they were complaining, hey, we don't have any sort of Japanese audience, but now we have an in-house Japanese developer. Oh, looks like we're closing them down now. In addition to that, they are also fairly weak in the Japanese market as a whole, and when they did try to lean into the Japanese market, they more so have just been doing deals with Japanese developers as a whole in order to try and fill up their TGS lineup, even though again, very small yet very rare that anyone in the gaming space would ever play a Japanese game or Japanese developed title on an Xbox of all things, let alone the people living within the confines of Japan actually sitting down and playing with an Xbox specifically. Let's see, and there's also a couple more studios laid off within Bethesda, And already this quarter, Microsoft has laid off another 650 gaming staff in a move which Xbox head Phil Spencer attributed directly to the acquisition. So at this point, prior to this, the 1900 that were let go were part of the reasoning that was given was to do with the pandemic, and now they're like, okay, because of the acquisition, this is what's happening. And keeping in mind that the FTC has always been arguing that, hey, if Microsoft were to buy Activision Blizzard or acquire them properly, people are going to lose their jobs, the price of Game Pass is going to go up, and a bunch of other bad things are just going to follow. And the FTC was 100% correct in their assumptions, and they acted accordingly. However, the courts allowed the acquisition to go through, and Microsoft was on their own little apology tour by allowing other games in other spaces, not other spaces necessarily, but within the cloud streaming space, to be able to have Xbox games there, because Xbox saw other cloud providers as their competition and not PlayStation or Nintendo. With that being said, also actually regarding Hi-Fi Rush and Tango Gameworks, after they shut down the developer, then they look at the public dead in the eyes and say, we don't have any successful games, we don't have any successful publishers, our games don't do particularly well, and they don't sell particularly well. And yet, they had the goal, while the game was available on Game Pass, for Microsoft to say, hey, it is doing way better than we expected, and it has, went beyond all our expectations in every possible metric. So Matt Booty did in fact say that. So there's that element to it as well. Microsoft's first quarter earnings call for fiscal 2025 will take place next week, providing an update on the company as a whole, as well as the gaming division. Microsoft has been doing because of Azure, Cloud Office, and its other divisions, and the Activision Blizzard acquisition has provided a significant boost to gaming revenue, most likely due to, microtransactions and things like that, specifically when you look at games like Overwatch and things of the sort. However, hardware sales have been dipping over the last year, a problem also faced by Xbox's rivals, and non-Activision Blizzard content sales have been relatively flat over the last year. And of course it is. So Activision Blizzard has provided them with a massive boon, while everything else of theirs has remained flat or declining. So, yeah, that's pretty much the way that it is and things of that sort. This is basically what the situation is with Microsoft at the moment. And I feel like I keep reminding people about the closure of, or the attempted closure rather, of Hi-Fi Studio, Tango Gameworks. And I just truly do not believe that, Microsoft should own Activision at all. They should not have acquired the company at all. They should have just let him go. But the thing is that Microsoft just isn't like that. Microsoft has always, ever since the browser wars of the early 2000s, been in a position where they have so much money they can strong arm their way through most of what is going on in the gaming space and any space in which they have some level of competition. It sucks, it's unfortunate, but you need to be a pig wrestling in the mud in order to match the depths of which Microsoft is willing to go to remain competitive, despite the fact that they can't seem to do things right themselves, like make highly competitive titles that sell well, that in order to even make their sales or their numbers look particularly good, they created Game Pass, and now Game Pass is kind of blowing up in their face. They've now acquired Activision, and that's probably going to blow up in their face because now people's eyes are on, Black Ops and things along those lines, which is going to be, I don't know, I'm going to record this video about Black Ops 6, it being on Game Pass and things like that after this, but I'm pretty sure it's going to come out before this video actually releases. I haven't decided the order yet, but that's kind of the double whammy that I'm looking at. But yeah, with all of that being said, however, let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for 400 subs in the not too distant future. And with all that being said, I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.